Students, this is Teacher Grace Kelly, your science teacher, and I will be helping you to understand our lesson for today. The lesson for today is about photosynthesis and respiration. In this lesson, we are going to learn on how to differentiate basic features and importance of photosynthesis and respiration. Starting with the photosynthesis, in this lesson, we're going to understand the process of photosynthesis. We're going to learn the structure and functions of plant parts involving the process, and of course, the importance of photosynthesis. Let us take a close look on the overview of photosynthesis and respiration. Sun is the main source of energy, and this energy is used by photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which the energy of sunlight is converted into the energy of glucose, and glucose is breakdown by cellular respiration and converted it into ATP for cell activities. Sun. Energy enters living system in the form of light. Light is the visible portion of the sun's radiation. There are two types of organisms. The first one is the autotrophs. Autotrophs are the organisms that use light energy from the sun to produce food. In other words, autotrophs are organisms can make their own food or can produce their own food through the use of light energy. Examples are the plants and some microorganisms. The second type of organism is the heterotrophs. Heterotrophs are the organisms that cannot use the sun's energy to make food. They cannot make their own food or they cannot produce their own food, meaning to say they depend on plants or they depend on the other organism in order for them to survive. Examples are the animals and most microorganisms. This is the process by which the energy of sunlight is converted into the energy of glucose. Reactants of this process are the sunlight, the carbon dioxide, water, and the products are the oxygen and the glucose. What is photosynthesis? The process of photosynthesis is a chemical reaction. It is the most important chemical reaction on our planet. Here is the equation for the chemical reaction of photosynthesis. Equation for the chemical reaction of photosynthesis. Reactants are the carbon dioxide plus water plus sunlight, and the byproducts are glucose and oxygen. Equation for photosynthesis. Reactants, carbon dioxide plus water plus energy, and the byproducts are glucose and oxygen. Let us describe photosynthesis. Synthesis. It is the process of changing light energy to chemical energy. Energy is stored as sugar. It occurs in plants and some algae. Plants need light energy, carbon dioxide, and water. It takes place in the chloroplast using chlorophyll, the green pigment in plants. Chlorophyll is the pigment inside the chloroplast that absorbs light for photosynthesis. It gives green color in plants. What happens during photosynthesis? During photosynthesis, plants capture light energy and use that energy to make glucose. Sunlight provides the energy needed by chlorophyll to change molecules of carbon dioxide and water into glucose. Oxygen is also released in this reaction. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide enters the leaf through holes called stomata. In this figure, stomata open to allow carbon dioxide to enter a leaf and water vapor to leave. Stomata facilitate carbon dioxide uptake and release of oxygen during the process of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide combines with the stored energy in the chloroplast through a chemical reaction to make glucose. Photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast of plants. Chloroplasts are plant cell organelles that convert light energy into relatively stable chemical energy via the photosynthetic process. In this figure, we have the parts of chloroplast: the outer membrane, the intermembrane space, the inner membrane, the thylakoid space, thylakoid, granum, and stroma. There are two stages of photosynthesis: the light-dependent reaction versus Calvin cycle. Light-dependent reaction. In this stage, this happens in the presence of light. The light-dependent reaction takes place within the thylakoid membrane and requires a steady stream of sunlight, hence the name light-dependent reaction. The chlorophyll absorbs energy from the light waves, which is converted into chemical energy in the form of the molecules ATP and NADPH. Light-dependent reaction. This reaction in photosynthesis requiring light energy. So meaning to say, this usually occurs during daytime. Calvin cycle or dark reaction. The light-independent stage, also known as the Calvin cycle, takes place in the stroma, the space between the thylakoid membranes and the chloroplast membranes, and does not require light, hence the name light-independent reaction. Light-independent reaction, or dark reactions of photosynthesis. It does not require light to proceed. It occurs during nighttime. What happens during photosynthesis? The sugars move through tubes in the leaf to the roots, stems, and fruits of the plants. Some of the sugar is used right away by the plant for energy. Some is stored as starch, and some is built into plant tissue. Why is this important to us? Photosynthesis is important to us because we cannot make our own food. We must get our food from plants in order to survive, and the plants are the first step in the food chain. Another importance of photosynthesis is the oxygen. The oxygen released during photosynthesis and is necessary for all living things. Now that you've already understand the photosynthesis, let us have a review on the equation for photosynthesis. Reactants, the carbon dioxide plus water plus energy, and the byproducts are the glucose and oxygen. I hope you learned a lot for today's lesson. Thank you and have a good day.